Last time on Dragon Ball Z, Superman has brought peace upon the Dragon world. Now he lives with his son Gohan and his wife Bulma at Capsule Corp. Every day, Clark goes out into the world as Superman to help those in need. However, this time we took a day off to visit his friends along with his wife and child. Unknown to him, however, a ship crash-landed in a city, and out of it a young woman begins to seemingly attack the civilians. What could this mean for the future of Earth? Relegations are incoming now. Hauntings from the past. What if Superman was in Dragon Ball? Part 2.
Piccolo Jr., the son of the evil King Piccolo, stands alone in a desolate plain. He is concentrating, planning a future attack on Superman. However, just then he senses an incredible power rush towards him. Piccolo jumps back, but calms down once he realizes it's just a girl approaching him. Questions what she wants, but she doesn't respond. The Namekian then recognizes the symbol she is wearing, the same one Superman wears on his gi. Instinctively, Piccolo thinks she's the enemy, and attempts to attack her. The woman dodges out of the way, and rushes to punch Piccolo. He is knocked out for a second, and the woman then leaves. Clark gets up suddenly from his chair, and tells Krillin to get ready. Krillin nods, recognizing an immense power coming their way. The power feels somewhat familiar. Then, a crash is heard from behind them, as the mysterious woman crashes onto Kame's house. She quickly rushes Clark out of the house, and Krillin follows suit, telling the rest of his friends to stay behind. The battle takes place on the ocean, where the two heroes attempt to calm down the woman. Superman recognizes the emblem on her chest as the House of El emblem, so he knows something bigger is going on. Clark manages to hold her down, while Krillin attempts to talk to her. However, Krillin is killed when she uses her eye blasts. Superman is infuriated, and tries to subdue her once more. She is stronger than him. He can't hold her down, that is, until Piccolo arrives. He offers his help in revenge for what that woman did to him. Together, Piccolo and Superman manage to pin her down, and Piccolo punches her in the face so hard it knocks her out. Piccolo then leaves, telling Clark that they'll meet again. The woman wakes up at the Fortress of Solitude, dazed and confused. She is now calm, but afraid that she could lose control once again. Clark questions her on things, and she explains that her name is Kara, and that she is her older cousin. She had been sent to Earth to look after him, but her pod and suspended animation malfunctioned, and she ended up trapped around the sun for all these years. She warns Clark that General Zod, a Kryptonian who betrayed their planet to serve under Frieza, had been tracking her ship, and now they know where she is. It wouldn't be long until they arrived on Earth. Clark is in disbelief for the majority of this, but accepts Kara with open arms, and wants to help her gain control of her powers.
Honestly, I'm happy to have found a family member,
he said with a bright smile.
But before we celebrate, we must prepare for Zod's arrival.
One night, Clark confronts Piccolo. The hero warns the villain about the arrival of Zod. Piccolo doesn't believe it, and asks why he would tell him about it. Clark responds by saying, "I want you to train my son, Gohan." Piccolo is in shock, but surprisingly accepts. He says that this might be the biggest mistake he's ever made, but Superman simply flies off. So now everything is set into motion. While Superman works with Kara, Piccolo trains Gohan. Krillin heads to King Kai's planet, and the other Earthling sea fighters train with Kami. The stage is set for the arrival of Zod. Finally, Zod arrives on Earth. He lands on a city where all cameras point to him. He is accompanied by a small Frieza ship, filled with Frieza soldiers. By his side is Faora. With cameras on him, he gives a message.
I am General Zod. I have journeyed through an ocean of stars to reach you. For some time, your world has sheltered one of my citizens. I request that you return this individual to my custody. To Kara and Kal-El, I say this. Surrender within 24 hours or watch this world suffer the consequences.
Kara and Clark watch the feat in awe. So this was their enemy. They were ready. The fighters arrive on the battle site. Kara refuses to go with them, and so does Clark. Zod sees no other option but to fight. He lets loose the soldiers, and they take on Earth's forces. Gohan has adapted very well to his powers, and fights right alongside Piccolo. Tenshinhan, Chaozu, and Yamcha have also gotten significantly stronger. Clark and Zod are seemingly equal in strength, with Clark having a slight edge, since he is used to using his powers in this way. For some reason, Zod isn't trying to kill Clark, just trying to get him to join his cause. Kara battles Faora, who mocks her through the fight. She tells her that she'll go crazy again and hurt people. Kara can't keep up without letting herself go mad. Zod is tired of playing games, and he rises up to the atmosphere, blasting the side of the continent with his heat vision. Clark is forced to rush out and help people, as well as stabilize the land. With Superman out of the equation, Zod takes the opportunity to kill Chaozu and Tenshinhan. He even attempts to kill Gohan with a blast, but Piccolo steps in the way and saves him. However, Piccolo falls in battle. Gohan blasts Zod with a Mazenko, but quickly calms down, realizing that Piccolo taught him to save his anger and strength for when it is most needed. Gohan mentions how the Dragon Balls are useless now, and they won't be able to grant any wish. Zod hears this and realizes that Namek could possibly have Dragon Balls as well. As Zod recovers from the Mazenko, Superman rushes at him with a flurry of punches. He had finally calmed down the land. Kara is finally faring better, but her dead allies bring her fear for killing once more. Faora takes this chance and blasts her from afar, but the heat blast never arrives. Instead, she finds herself several meters away, being carried by Krillin. She thanks him and apologizes for killing him. He simply nods. With a Kaioken, Krillin accompanies Kara into battle, but then notices that she is holding back. So he says, "I forgive you, Kara. You don't have to worry. Don't be scared." This gives her courage, and together they defeat the Kryptonian with a heat beam and a Kamehameha. At the exact same time, Zod and Kal-El clash beams. Heat vision versus Kamehameha. Ultimately, Kal-El is the victor, and Zod is pushed back into space. He's defeated, but decides to retreat to Frieza with new information about the Namekian Dragon Balls, which he wants to use for himself. A few days pass, and Krillin is contacted by King Kai about the Namekian Dragon Balls, and he also explains that Frieza and his army is heading there. Krillin explains everything, and they set a plan into motion. They will not only revive their friends, but also stop Frieza and Zod. Superman flies off into space, while Gohan, Krillin, Kara, and Bulma prepare Kami's ship. Yamcha stays on Earth, defending it and its people as a superhero. Superman ends up on planet Yardrat, attempting to intercept some ships similar to the one Zod landed in. Superman meets the Ginyu Force there, and he finds them attacking civilians on Yardrat. A battle ensues, and though Kal-El is clearly stronger, the team decides to battle all at once. This makes the battle much tougher. Meanwhile, on Namek, the team leaves Bulma in a cave while they look for the Dragon Balls. Kara, Krillin, and Gohan defend the Namekian village from Dodoria and Zarbon, taking them on at once. They do very well, defeating Dodoria. Zarbon is a bit tougher once he transforms. Ultimately, Gohan and Kara are the ones that beat him. Back on Yardrat, Clark dodges out of the way of the body change, which hits Goldo instead. While they argue about it, Superman knocks both down. The whole Ginyu Force is defeated by a huge explosion of ki. Superman is thanked by the Yardrats, and they want to thank him by teaching him something. However, he overhears Frieza trying to call the Ginyu Force through their scouters. Superman tells them that he will return, and he rushes off to Namek.
Hey kids, don't go away. We'll be right back. And now back to our show.
The Earth team had been hiding away from Zod the whole time, until Superman arrives. Zod quickly finds them, but tells them that he wants Frieza to be taken down too. He isn't their friend, but they have a common enemy. They agree to help each other, managing to get most of the Dragon Balls at once. Except for one. They even steal them off of Frieza's ship. Finally, they end up at Guru's place. He unlocks Krillin's potential, but says he can't do it the same for the Kryptonians, as their potential seems to be endless already. In fact, their power had been increasing the whole time they were on Namek, because of the two suns. He gives them a Dragon Ball, just as Frieza arrived. Dende, who had been saved by Krillin, tells him to go with him far away and make the wish there. Nail agrees to go with them. Frieza is right outside, and the four Kryptonians stare him down, protecting the entrance of Guru's place. Carefully, Dende, Nail, and Krillin sneak out from the back. As they battle Frieza, Zod explains to Kal-El that he was Jor-El's best friend. He was happy to fight alongside his best friend's son. Frieza is quickly pushed into his final state, which is far above the Kryptonians, even with their huge boost. It's an intense battle, where Gohan and Kara are forced to retreat. Frieza threatens to kill them all, and aims directly at Kal-El's heart. The blast is too fast, but Zod jumps in front of it. In his dying breath, he tells Kal-El that his father would be proud. This makes Superman explode in anger, and the sky darkens. Porunga had been summoned, and the three wishes were used to revive their falling allies. Superman continues to punch Frieza up into space, punch after punch, without letting him attack at all. They reach all the way to the sun, and Kal-El stares Frieza down. Superman's power is immense, and he fires one final Kamehameha, that kills Frieza as he is consumed by the sun. The day is saved, and the team is able to return back to Earth. Back there, Superman and Piccolo have occasional sparring matches, serving a role more similar to that of Vegeta. Piccolo trains every day to try to defeat Superman. Superman even returns to Yardred, and learns instant transmission with them. This helps when King Cold attacks, and is easily defeated. He even pays tribute to Zod. One day, while Krillin and Kara are hanging out, they overhear the cry of the people in the city. Once they arrive, they realize that the team is already there, and the city is completely gone. They can't sense any power at all, but the Kryptonians begin to feel sick and weak. It must be kryptonite. From behind them attacks Dr. Gero, who instead of absorbing energy, has kryptonite infused into his hands. 19 attacks as well. They are stronger than their original counterparts, but so are the Z Fighters. By working together, Krillin, Yamcha, Piccolo, and Tenshinhan defeat them. Before he dies, Gero explains that the Red Ribbon Army will get their revenge. It looks like he has more to say, but he short-circuits thanks to an outside force. As if a mirage, a hologram is projected from Gero's eye. A figure that names himself as Brainiac tells Superman and the rest that their days are numbered, as he will create the ultimate being, a perfect vessel for himself. Kara's face goes pale. The projection then turns off. She explains that Brainiac was an artificial intelligence from Krypton that shrunk the city of Kandor. He is extremely smart and extremely powerful. He must have created those androids. Bulma interjects, explaining that Dr. Gero was a scientist from the Red Ribbon Army. It's likely that Brainiac manipulated him into creating those androids. She then told them how they could maybe defeat Brainiac. They must prepare. They look up and see a giant Brainiac ship hovering over. Bulma has an idea, but needed some time. Clark tells Kara that they must go train together to figure out a way to defend against the kryptonite. Everyone heads to Kami's lookout and begin to train in the Room of Spirit and Time. Kara and Kal-El go first, along with some kryptonite. Meanwhile, the rest are on the lookout for the androids. It wasn't long until they heard an attack. It was Android 16 this time, and none of them could stand up against them. At the same time, Androids 17 and 18 attacked the other side of the planet. Gohan and Piccolo went after 17 and 18, while the rest went after 16. Things are not going well. They all had kryptonite, but the only one affected was Gohan. They did what they could to fight, but hours passed without much progress. Then, as 17 was about to land his final blow on Gohan, Superman arrives, punching him back. He had a strange orb of ki around him. It was protecting him from the kryptonite. However, the lack of sun in the chamber for such a long period of time meant that he was weaker than usual, and it would take some time before he could regain his full power. At the same time, Kara helped out the Z Fighters against 16, until he blew himself up. Thankfully, Kara's ki shield protected her, but it still hurt her a lot. Eventually, the battles ended up close to each other, with 17 and 18 clearly wounded. Just then, a figure appears from the shadows behind the androids, absorbing them both. He talked to the fighters.
This perfect body was made from the cells of every one of you, along with kryptonite. Its name was Cell, but now it's nothing but a vessel for Brainiac.
A huge power surges from Brainiac, causing the ground to shake. He went to attack Kara when Superman rushed in front of her and protected her from Brainiac. Brainiac had the slightest edge over Kal-El when it came to raw strength, and he knew all of his moves. As they battled, Brainiac explained that he was able to accelerate the birth of Cell by a whole 7 years, and that there was no flaws. And it truly seemed that way, as he could counter anything the fighters threw at him. Krillin, Yamcha, Tenshinhan, and Gohan nodded at Piccolo and Kara, telling them that they will see them soon, as they needed to put their plan into motion. Waiting close by was Bulma on a small capsule ship. Krillin and the others arrived and flew up high to Brainiac's ship. Once there, they were approached by a bunch of small Brainiacs. They were tough, and the battle blew off half of the ship. Bulma made it into the computer room, where she began to hack Brainiac into deactivating his defenses. At the same time, the battle took them to Mount Pautsu, where they were followed by Piccolo and Kara. Superman was being beaten, until the ki shield around him broke, leaving him open for the kryptonite attack. Piccolo runs in to help, but is caught by Brainiac, who begins to choke him. Superman slowly recovers, realizing what's happening. He screams in anger and blasts Brainiac with his eye-beams. This sends Brainiac through Grandpa Gohan's old home and into a small pond. Superman fights him underwater, which hurts him greatly without the shield. He seems to be about to lose, when Bulma finally hacks off the defenses. Krillin and the rest escape from the ship as it blows up. Superman punches Brainiac up, the two finally coming up from the water, covered in mud, bugs, and algae. Superman then comments,
"So much for your perfect body, Brainiac. That's mud. Feel all the bugs, decay, and waste rotting away over your perfect skin?"
Brainiac stood still for a second, and then started to freak out. He needed to be perfect. Additionally, Cell's body was partially machine, as Brainiac wouldn't dare create something that was fully biological. His brain in particular was all his doing, and it began to short-circuit.
How could I be defeated? I'm perfect. Doesn't make sense.
Superman smirked. This had done it. Bulma had been right. She had told them that a computer like Brainiac had to have limits, and if he saw himself as perfect, then you should find an imperfection. What Superman didn't expect was Brainiac activating a self-destruct sequence. Superman, thinking quickly, grabbed onto Brainiac and sped off towards the sun. His friends stare in disbelief as an explosion planets away shakes the earth. The evil had been defeated. But at what cost? Tears began to flow, but Superman spoke to them from the other world, telling them that these enemies always come out because of him. So maybe it's time for Kara and Gohan to take care of the planet. He may return someday. A big ceremony is held for Superman in the middle of Wet City, where a statue was placed. Superman will be remembered as the hero who saved the Dragon World.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know a lot of people have been asking, where's Goku in this What If? Well, Goku, Vegeta, and the rest of the Saiyans are over on my channel. Check out my series What If Goku Was in DC, where we'll be exploring Goku being sent to the DC universe, with the latest installment pitting the Justice League against Saiyans raised by Darkseid. Be sure not to miss it.
As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon to make sure you join the Smug Squad and get notified when I upload new videos. The Dragon Ball question of the week this week is, if there was one thing you could change about the Dragon Ball story, what would it be? Leave it in the comments down below, and I will feature you in the next video. Anyways, until we meet again, see ya!
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Smugstick, unless you want to be destroyed.
Lord Beerus, that's hardly fair. But also, don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified when he uploads new videos.